Om. Sit alert and step out of the memory of the past. You examine that. Generally, I live as the person created by the memory. Meaning, I live in the memory. I live in the past. When I wake up from deep sleep, am I waking up into the present or into the past? Generally into the past. Wake up into the past. Wake up as the person created by the past. That is the misfortune. Therefore, it is necessary to step out of the memory of the past. Therefore, I do that. I step out of the memory of the past and also step out of the imagination of the future. Which is something like, I do not have any future. There is no future. There is no future. Meaning, I stepped out of the future also. Now, where am I? I am in the present moment. I am in the now. Now. Now is the present moment. I am in the now. Past is gone and buried. future is unborn. Now is the real. Now. Now. You may notice as you abide in the now, you are thoughtless. Now. Now. You may notice now is timeless. Now. Now. And hence eternal. Now. Now. You may notice the present moment, the now, shines in the consciousness, which I am. Now. Now is in myself. Now is not outside the consciousness, which I am. Now. Now. You may also notice now is the presence. Now is the present, which means the presence, the being. Now. Now. Now the timeless. Now the eternal. Is the presence, the being, which is myself. The being shining as the knowing. That is the presence. And that is the eternal now. That is what I am. now. I am ever now. And that is freedom. Sit at ease. And open the eyes slowly. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Nāmi Bhagavatpada Shankaram Loka Shankaram rāgecchāsukhaduḥkhādi buddhau satyāṃ pravartate suṣuptau nāsti tannāśe tasmādbuddhestu nātmanaḥ. Very important verse. One needs to remind oneself of this verse. Before that, let us see, there is one question. Consolidate these two statements. Being Atma, I am ineligible for any karma. Karta. Yeah, you are right, but we do not say ineligible. If you say Atma is not eligible for karma, it may become eligible for karma. Now presently not eligible for karma, but after some time or after some effort or by doing some special sadhana, etc., likely to become eligible for karma. It is not so. Generally we don't say that. It's okay. You may say it. Technically you may be right also, but we say Atma is not the doer. Atma is the knowing element. We don't even say Atma is the knower. But there are contexts when Atma is presented as the knower, when that language is used, drashta, arjñāta. You have to understand that drashta, arjñāta as drik and as jñapti, the knowing element or the knowingness. In that sense, you have to understand, because the ER, knower, implies an action generally, but knowing is not an action. Therefore, ER, better don't use it, but if you find it, then ER doesn't mean the regular ER, which that means action. It is just upachara, though there is no action in knowing, but still the ER is used. In that way you have to understand. Therefore Atma is not the doer, Atma is a karta. Atma is myself, I am a karta. That is the first statement. Now the second statement, to be consolidated, that is the question. The second statement is watch the mind. Watch the mind. So there is nothing to consolidate in it, because watching is not an action. Watching is not an action. Suppose child is playing and you watch. So you are not playing, you are only watching. It is the child which is playing. Therefore, watching is not an action. Watching is same as being aware, which is same as being the witness or witnessing. They are all same. They are not actions. Therefore, there is no confusion. There is no need to consolidate. That is fine. Then harness viveka vairagya. They say that harness in the sense there is viveka in you already, and once, but it has to be woken up. It is sleeping. Everything is in you. Only it is veiled or covered, and you have to discover it. So discover viveka in you, vairagya follows. Once you have viveka, vairagya follows. So once you understand a steel plate is better than silver plate or gold plate for eating food, then you give up steel and gold. You hold on to the steel plate. That viveka has to be woken up. Not a very great example early in the morning, some example, okay? So, therefore, once viveka is in place, viveka is you learn to question. Learn to question. The viveka works very, very effectively. I tried it many times. When I go to the Walmart or some such big shops in this country, big shops, millions of articles will be there. And the shelves are filled with things. And by the time you go through all that becomes the day's walk. Generally, 30 minutes is our walking time. It is done, effectively done, within Walmart. So you pick up an item, you want to purchase something. Let me purchase something today. Anyway, I have to purchase something. So go from aisle after aisle, from aisle to aisle to aisle. You don't find any aisle that is worth exploring. But somehow, at last, you manage to catch hold of an aisle that is worth exploring. So go into that aisle and examine. Take a thing into your hand, look at it. No way, put it back. You just don't need any of those things. That is viveka. If you kill the viveka or you suppress the viveka, you see something maybe useful, put in the box and then pay for it. So viveka, once you have the viveka, pull it out, harness. Harness is a good word. So once you harness the viveka, vairagya follows. It is something like once you have put an object into the waste basket, that is called viveka. Then the things in the waste basket you throw out, that is vairagya. So shifting is viveka, throwing out. After shifting, throwing out is vairagya. They are not actions. They are not actions. What you do with vairagya is an action, but vairagya itself is not an action. You know that it is a waste basket, what all it contains are waste. That you know. That is called vairagya. Then action follows. Therefore, don't take vairagya into an action. Viveka is not an action. Vairagya is not an action. Then what are they? They are the understanding. Sadhana chatushtaya. The sadhana is not in the form of karma. Sadhana is in the form of intelligence only. You are intelligent enough to know that it is worthless and hence let it go its way. And therefore that is also not an action. And hence there is no need to consolidate these two statements because they are naturally in place. So on the surface they seem, no, there is no contradiction. It seems as if I have to exert effort. No. You don't need effort to realize my true nature. No. In fact, effort will distract you. It is something like a person who is roaming all the time in the roads, in the clubs and outside bars or restaurants, etc. Suppose he wants to remain at home. How much effort he has to put in? That is not effort. Stay at home is not effort. Running around is effort. Stay at home is not effort. So realizing one's own true nature, that is knowing oneself, is no different from being oneself. Knowing is the being. So that is your true home. You stay in your home, in your swarupa. That is how you realize yourself. You will not know yourself, oh, this is myself. Like that you will not know. Suppose you know that way, then it is not yourself, it is something other than yourself. Therefore, you don't know yourself. Strictly speaking, you don't know yourself. Means when it comes to the self, the entire mechanism of knowing becomes irrelevant. That's why Shruti says many times, aprameya. It is something that is not known. So, if this point is highlighted, then the student may realize that the need for the guru is over. Upanishads describe like that. In Brahma Sutra, Shankara quoted from an Upanishad, which Upanishad I don't remember. Avachanenaiva provacha. It is quoted by Shankara in Brahma Sutra. Recently, somebody has put a search engine for Brahma Sutra. That is a great service. Just go to that search engine and type this small expression, avachanenaiva. You type it. It will take you to that reference. Very good thing it is. So, the teacher has taught the Atma, the Swarupa, etc. And the student, he has listened to it. And then, even as he is listening, he reflected and he contemplated and he understood. Having understood, he got up and did a namaskar and went away. Now the Guru understood that he understood. How Guru understood? Because avachanenaiva provacha. By remaining silent, he has conveyed the message very effectively. Because he cannot declare that I have known myself. Because anybody who declares that I have gained self-knowledge is ignorant. And therefore there is only one way of conveying that he has understood the truth is to remain silent. So once you are silent, you walk away your way. That's why once the student understands the truth of the self, there is no further need of the Guru. It should be like that. Gurus should think on those lines. Guru should not think that, okay, this person has come, now he should remain for his lifetime as a shishya to me. And then he has to pull his wife to become shishya also. And then he has to pull his neighbors to become shishyas. He has to bring his friends also, he has to bring to become shishyas. This is samsara, it is. So the person knows and walks away. God bless. That should be the approach. Because Atma is not something really to be known. All this I have said to impress upon you that there is no effort involved in realizing the true nature. Because realizing the true nature is nothing more than being the true self. And being has nothing to do with doing. You should get out of this confusion. I'm not saying about the person. Generally, I'm saying you should get out of this confusion that being and doing are same. They are not same. They are two different realms. Being has no action in it, has no movement in it, and hence timeless. Doing is movement, and hence time-bound. There is a fantastic difference between the two. They are like a North Pole and South Pole. Therefore, they are not the same. Therefore, there is no effort. Okay? And the next question, who is exerting this effort? Question doesn't arise because there is no effort. Or is it purely knowing, mistaken as doing? Yes, you got it perfectly all right. Then ichha, desires. You see, when we talk of desires, people resist the teaching. Even coming from Sri Krishna, they resist. So, how the resistance works, Sri Krishna says, prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. That is what he says. This is sthita prajna lakshana, and it is said in the context of karma yoga. Why in the context of karma yoga? Because karma originates from kama, desire, and kama comes from avidya, and that is samsara. Vidya, kama, karma, lakshana, samsara. And the samsara is absent for the one who is steadfast in wisdom. That is sthita prajna. For him there is no samsara. Means for him there is no bondage of karma, because he has no desire, because his ignorance is gone. That is the context. And in that context this verse comes. Sthita prajna. So people have to think also, not just nodding head like Dudu Basavanna all the time. So people have to think also, that is the context. Okay? So, and what Sri Krishna says, yada kaman manogatan. They are not in you. Buddhau satyāṃ pravartate. Manaha buddhi same. So they are in the inner organ, which is antahkarana, that is the mind. They are in the mind. Manaha buddhi used to mean the same. So they are in the mind, manogatan. And here, buddhau satyāṃ pravartate. Adi is ekavachanam. That's why pravartate. Therefore this ichha, desire, etc., desire, you take desire. It is operational, it is operating, means the desire is going on. It means desire is a movement. It is a movement in the mind. Mind is movement, and movement is thought. There are many kinds of thoughts, and one particular kind of thought is called desire. And it's a movement. Anyway, this desire, when is the desire? Only, you see, when is the content in the flow? Only when there is flow. The flow has dried up, then there is what content you talk about? So if there is flow, therefore the flow brings a content along with it. Similarly, mind is moving, and so a desire comes as a content of that movement or that flow. Buddhau satyāṃ pravartate. And therefore desire is in the mind, it is not in the Atma. If it is in the Atma, you cannot get rid of it. If you say you put some paint to the wall, you can erase it with some rough paper, take it out and put a new paint, different color, you can do that. Why? Because the paint is not part and parcel of the wall. But you can take it out and put another color. But suppose you pull out the bricks, then no wall is left. Okay? Therefore, if the desire is in Atma, and you pull out the desire, then you have pulled out the Atma itself. At least a piece of Atma is pulled out and thrown out. Now Atma is shrunk. It doesn't happen like that. Therefore, desire, it happens in the mind. It is not there in the mind also, manogatan. It has come into the mind only to go. You allow it to go. Otherwise, it gets fixed in the mind. In any case, it is in the mind. So, therefore, the advice is let them go. Prajahati. There Shankara, you look at the Bhashya, he explains the upasarga pra. So, not only you give up the desire for a given object momentarily, but also the desiring nature called vasana is also given up. Like that, for example, do you want a diamond ring? No, I don't want diamond ring. I don't need it. I don't want diamond ring. So he gave up the desire for diamond ring. But he did not give up the desire for gemstones and gold. He has kept it. And after some time, a chain in the neck, he may go for it, he or she. So a particular desire is dismissed, but the vasana, the latency, is not given up. So you better give up the latency also. That is the meaning of pra. And all that Shankara writes. And then he raises a Purvapaksha. All this is there in the Bhashya. The Purvapaksha is, if all desires are given up, including the latencies, will there be life possible? That is the Purvapaksha. He raised the question which anybody is likely to raise. And the answer is, not only the life will be possible, but the life will be much better and happier. And so he answers it. So having studied this much, it is all before you, still you resist the vision. What could be the reason for that? Still there is resistance. The students resist, and sometimes even the acharyas resist. Very sad state of affairs. You need not tell people you can have desires. Without our telling, they are already having plenty of desires. Now we come as big Mahatmas and tell you can have desires, then they will continue in samsara. It doesn't help. So, therefore, you have to give up desires. Allow them to go. Because they are not in you, they are in the mind. And you don't need any service from the mind, all right, but you don't want any disservice from the mind. So to prevent any possible disservice coming from the mind, you have to make the mind pure. And how to make the mind pure? How will you make water pure? To remove the impurities. That is how you make the water pure. If they are suspending particles, by filtration you remove. If there are electrolytes dissolved in water by electrolysis or reverse osmosis, you remove them. And then you get pure water. That is the only way. Pure water is already there in it. Only the impurities have to be removed. The same thing applies to the mind also. Mind has to become pure. And so mind has not only pure, also implies mind has to become receptive, open, sensitive, and intelligent, creative. All that the mind has to become. Okay. In a way, mind has to stop moving and merge in its source, which is Atma. That is what has to happen. And do you know what a desire does to your mind? It is like a tempest. It shakes you up. That's why the desire, kama is the desire, it is called vega, the moment. Kama krodhodbhavam vegam prakāśo'rkasya vimokṣhanāt yas shuknotihaiva yas sodhum. Something, Gita. Therefore, there is a momentum associated with the desire. It will shake you up. That is Rajoguna. Followed by, you get tired. It stresses you out and you get tired and you become dull. That is Tamoguna. Therefore, desires dull the mind. Fears also do the same job. Fears are born of desires. Therefore, when desire is mentioned, fear is also mentioned. Even without mentioning, it is there. So when desire is thrown out or given up, fear also will go away. Yeah, I have put the lines a bit. So, shaknoti haiva yas sodhum prakāśo'rkasya vimokṣhanāt kamakrodhodbhavam vegam sayuktasya sukhi naraha. So, vegam, there is a momentum associated with desire. And keeping that momentum, you can never be a yogi, yuktaha. You cannot be a yogi. So sukhi, you cannot be sukhi also. Anyway, the desires dull the mind, and mind needs some scrubbing. So anyway, how to get rid of is, once again, you have to clear the mind by watching it very much, relentlessly watching the mind makes it pure. You don't pay attention to your mind. That is how mind becomes impure. Inattention obscures. Attention clarifies. Suppose water is given to you. Before drinking, what you do? You pay attention. You look at it and get satisfied that it is pure. Then only you drink. Okay? Inattention obscures. Attention clarifies. So ichha, desire, is in the mind. When there is desire in the mind, it will create movement, actions. Because all actions originate from the desire. Worldly actions arise out of desires. Worldly actions. You want a diamond necklace or diamond ring. And then you look for easy monthly installments. And so you enter into that trap. You pay 1.5 times more than the actual price or 2 times more than the actual price. So this is how people enter into problems. Sometimes we see big billboards which say, are you having credit card problems? Call 1-800, like number he gives. A free call it is, it doesn't charge. Suppose you have credit card problems, means whatever money you make, it goes to pay the credit card bills only. And it is still increasing. They put a load of interest upon the loan that you take. Credit card it is, means you are taking loan. Every time you purchase something, you are borrowing. That is what the credit card means. And therefore, you pile up the credit card problems. And now you call him. So he will tell you, you know what he will tell? Suppose you call. So I will tell you what to do. You open the website and keep your credit card ready. That is what he will tell. Really? So you enter your name and address, and email address, credit card number which is having problem. He will tell you how to get out of it, all that. But then you have to first make a payment on that $100. And that payment you have to do with the credit card. This is called a trap. A debt trap. Means you take some more debt to overcome the servicing of the earlier debts. This is the debt trap. This is how samsaris live. In very serious stress levels they build for themselves and become sick. So all because of desires. So in the worldly life, the desires play havoc with people's life. And then the religious life. If you look around, 99% of the religious life is dominated by desires and fears. 99%. Very sad to look at it. If you go to a temple outside, there are many temples. You go to a temple. So, in this country, temple is a very commercial enterprise. Everywhere it is so, but all the more so in this country. So, a priest, he is very clever. You know what he does? He will start a temple. A priest starts a temple. What he will do is, he will have a 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom house. He, his wife and his children live in the room and kitchen and a small hall. He will allot the road-facing room for a temple. And what he will do from India, he will get an idol. He need not even go to India. So made in China idols are available plenty around, plastic idols or some other kind of idol. All Ganesha Puja, all Ganeshas are made in China only. So China people, they hook on to every merchant opportunity. They won't leave it. So purchase an idol, somewhat bigger, could be made in China, and install there, and say that I have done prana pratishtha, and just spread the word that all your desires will be fulfilled if you do puja to this idol. And who will conduct the puja? I will arrange everything for the puja. So you come with your wife. If you are unmarried also, you are welcome. If your wife refuses to come also, you are welcome. And if the husband refuses, wife can come and do puja. All options are open. And we will allow the puja $100. And we will provide all puja material, we will provide. Like that he starts. And it will be flourishing. Amazing. Means the entire religion in that context is inspired by desires and fear. Entire. This is how the world functions. In a Vedanta place also you come across similar situations. It is what we say. So the termite has invaded the fire also. Termite is supposed it cannot do anything to the fire. It can only attack the wood, not the fire. But suppose termite has become so strong that it infests the fire also. That is the Telugu proverb. Nippuku chedalu pattinatlu. It's a Telugu proverb. Okay. So in a Vedanta place also you bring in this kind of religion. Means, so it hampers the effort to understand the self. So people, they are dominated by desire and fear. Fear follows. I tell you a general rule. When you are dominated by desire and or fear, you cannot do anything good. Whatever you do will be necessarily bad. Means it will hurt you, it will bind you. So now people talk of sadhana. You know what is the sadhana? Stop all activity based on desire and fear. That is the sadhana. This is cessation, not starting something. That's why that sadhana is also not in the form of any action. That is the sadhana. So ceasing to do undesirable things, binding things, is the best way for self-good. It is like, so a person had food poisoning, so the stomach is in bad shape. Now the first thing he should do is, he should stop eating. No further eating. Then get hold of some medicine and take that medicine. And you think of eating only after 24 hours. Don't eat anything in between. No, I have taken tablet, now I will have some pizza, etc. Then that doesn't work. Therefore, cessation is the best way of doing some good for yourself. Therefore, before investigating about Atma, etc., first practice this cessation. Cessation is not really a practice also. Stop doing all activities for some time. Based on desires and fears, whatever activities are there in your life, you just put an end to all of them for some time. So that all this falsehood is out of your life. Then you can ask the question, after this purging of the mind of all desires and fears, then you can ask the question, who am I? Also, when you stop all activities based on desires and fears, then you can really start doing your duties. Begin with your duties, which are obvious. You need not ask a guru, what are my duties? They are obvious to you. So start with your duties. So this way, when desire is recognized as false, as bondage, and all the actions arising out of desires are meaningless, when you recognize all this nonsense, you become free of desires. And you arrive into desirelessness. It comes on its own. Desirelessness is not something that you seek and get it. That is not how it is. It is all negative. Once you come out of all these desires, how do you come out of the desires? That is not again an effort. Desire engenders action. Now desirelessness engenders another kind of action? No. So give up the desire, all actions based on desires will come to an end. And already the desirelessness has come into your life, into yourself. Because desirelessness is Atma. Desirelessness is godliness, which is Atma. Therefore, you need not struggle with the desire also. But all you have to do is notice the desire as false. Notice the desire as false. Okay? So, I tell you one thing. Why do you desire a thing? Why do you desire? Because you believe that there is happiness in that thing. That's why you desire. There is no happiness in what you desire. Okay? Sometimes people, they fall into a trap. So, for example, I believe that there is happiness in an Audi car. In India, we call it Audi car, but here they call it Audi car. This is what I have learned recently. Therefore, I am refreshing my knowledge. Suppose you desire an Audi car. Why do you desire an Audi car? Because it has happiness in it. Whereas the Toyota, this car, it also has happiness, but a very little happiness. Whereas Audi car has a lot more happiness. That's why you desire it. But you should understand that there is no happiness in what you desire. You know why marriages fail? Because the guy believes he marries for happiness, and he believes that the happiness is in the girl, and she believes that there is happiness in this guy. And both are disappointed, waiting to be disappointed. Because there is no happiness in the other person. If the person has happiness, he can give it to you. Or you can get it from him. You can pull it from him. But he doesn't have happiness in him. The girl also doesn't have happiness in her. So one should not marry for getting happiness. Then what for one should marry? One should marry for giving happiness. Then it will never fail. Even relation also like that. Why do you relate with a person? Why do you cultivate a relation? Because you believe that the other person has happiness to give to you. That relation will be short-lived. And also, it will be a bit shaky and disturbing. It will not be a happy relationship. Whereas you maintain a relation in which you are always looking to give happiness to the other person. You are not interested in deriving happiness. You are willing to give happiness. That is how you pursue the relation. The relation will be there forever. And it will be fulfilling and happy also. Therefore, what is the basis for this desire? You see, natural urge, that doesn't come under the category of desire, okay? So like food, etc., that you put aside. Therefore, this desire, which is based on the false notion that there is happiness in the thing that you are desiring. So that desire is bad because it is against the fact. The fact is there is no happiness in the thing that you are desiring. You have to see it. There is no happiness in the thing that you are desiring. When you see it, there is no happiness in the thing. Or there is no happiness in the other person with whom I am trying to relate. So happiness is in myself. It is not outside. Once you know that, then you don't desire. There is nothing to desire. You will be looking, suppose you make a demand, you should desire something today, before evening you should desire something. So you struggle to desire. There is nothing to desire. Because no thing in this world can make you happy. Therefore, what is the logic in these desires? So, in any case, you need not even give up desire. It is enough to note that they are in the mind, not in you. So, what does it mean? It means step back from the desire. Pay attention to the desire. Attention is you. Attention is you. Attention is witness. That is you. Not the desiring mind. The desiring mind is not you unless you identify with it. Therefore, step back. So understand that inattention binds and attention clarifies and liberates. Understand that. Therefore, pay attention. The moment you pay attention, your desire will melt away. No desire is left. The reason is the desire is not part of attention. Attention is you. Desire is not part of you. It is part of the mind, ignorant mind. That's why the commercials also are not aimed at the attention. They are not aimed at the witness. They are not aimed at the Atma. They are aimed at the gullible mind. That is how they are aimed at. And so sometimes in India, people protest when these Bollywood stars, Bollywood, Tollywood, these stars, they endorse a product. And then good-meaning people protest, hey, what are you doing? You don't endorse that product. Like they endorse soda. Dil mange more. Dil mange is Hindi, more is English. This is a new language which India has created and it is well recognized also, and its name is Hinglish. At one time there was the language called Urdu, which is a byproduct of mixing of Hindi and Parsi or Arabic. When Hindi and Arabic, Persian. Hindi and Persian, they came, means the Iran people, Iranian Muslims, they came to India, they brought the Persian language, and then Hindi, they got mixed. There is a cross-pollination and so hybridization, and the result is Urdu, is a popular language. Urdu is a good language also. It's a good language, very beautiful language. And most of the literature, and it is in the Urdu, Sufi literature is entirely in the Urdu. Swami Ramatirtha used to write his essays in Urdu to begin with. And then some people requested him give up Urdu. And then he started teaching in English. So, therefore, Urdu came like that. Now the days of Urdu are over. Now are the days of English. Hindi and English. Even the cinema titles are all English only. Telugu cinemas are also have titles English. I am sorry, that is the title of a Hindi Telugu movie. That is the title of a Telugu movie. Okay. Super hit, that is another title of a movie. Super hit. Spy number 3, another movie. Even titles of the English movies are in English. Therefore, Dil Mange More. He is promoting soda. Dil Mange More. Big actor. And he is, sometimes he happens to be a good social activist also. And people asked him, you talk of big things, social activism and all that, society has to be helped. But you are endorsing a product which makes people sick. The soda, the coke, etc., that makes people sick and people obese, and youth are easily impressed by this kind of an advertisement because they look up to you. So you are like an ideal for them. They follow you and you endorse such a wrong product. It is wrong on your part. Don't do that. Then this seems to be working also. They stop it. They don't endorse anymore. They say sorry and move out. Pan masala, some cinema actor was endorsing it. People protested, why do you endorse it? The young people are going after this pan masala because of your endorsement. And therefore he stopped endorsing. I don't know why I say this. Therefore, this is the point is, what all things that you desire, only because you are gullible enough to be impressed by these commercials. That is how people enter into, their mind is invaded. It is an invasion. It is also a colonization. So the advertising pundits, they devise ways to colonize your mind. They colonize your mind. So whenever you are thirsty, you have to drink a Coke. That is how he colonizes. And if you have to marry a girl, first you have to propose. And while proposing, you have to present before her a Tiffany company diamond ring. That is how they create it. That is how they create it. Now he cannot, suppose he doesn't have money. Tiffany diamond ring, the least is $599. The least costly. And he cannot give the least one. He has to give somewhat middle. So at least $1,000 he must have. If he doesn't have that money, he has to stop proposing. He has love in the heart, but money in the pocket is not enough. Then he cannot even propose. That is the level to which this imperialism, this brainwashing happens because of commercials. This is how we are pushed into desiring. Otherwise, you don't need all the things that you desire. And if you observe, why are you desiring a thing? That attention, it liberates. And the mind becomes pure from desire. In any case, only the mind has to become pure from desire, free from desire, not you. Therefore, you understand all desires are in the buddhi only, not in you. That liberates you. That is the verse. Then suṣuptau. I am done with the desire part of it. It is important, that's why I am taking my time. Then comes suṣuptau, the pair of opposites, pleasure and pain. So, you see, you have to understand that both pleasure and pain are in the mind, not in the Atma, and also they make mind restless. Both. Pleasure makes mind restless, pain makes mind restless. There is a name for this restlessness. It is the turbulence of the mind. Mind is restless means turbulence. There is a name for it. Psychologists use that language, I suppose. It is called paroxysm. So the mind is very agitated and restless. So that is a pathological state it is. It is not healthy state. It is paroxysm. This paroxysm of the mind can arise either from pleasure or from pain. It is said that the heart doesn't know the difference between this paroxysm and that paroxysm. Therefore, when it is a pleasure-related paroxysm, the heartbeat increases. Or pain-related paroxysm, the heartbeat increases equally. And then there are some chemical messengers like acetylcholine, etc. They convey the message from the brain to the different parts of the body, the endocrinological system, etc. So the release of the hormones, etc. happens based on the brain sending the signals. And therefore, when the paroxysm happens, the brain goes into a kind of higher activity, and it will send all types of chemical signals into the body and the hormonal glands, etc. And many hormones are released into the bloodstream. And because of this pleasure and pain cycle, your entire physiology gets affected. Not good for health. Therefore, the point is the paroxysm born out of pain as well as pleasure are equally bad. And there is a restlessness in the mind because of both pleasure and pain. So, therefore, you have to understand that sukha and dukkha, the pair of opposites. You see, the names, the words are very significant. Kha is space, mental space. Chittakasha, not Atma. They are not in Atma. Atma is called Chidakasha, the space of awareness. Everything is called in terms of space. So we say in that space, like that, that inner space we talk about. So the awarefulness is also presented as space, but that is the space of Atma. And Sukha and Dukkha are not in that space. Then in which space they are? They are in the space of the mind. Chittakasha. So Kha means space of the mind. In this context, it is of the mind. And when that space is good, Sukha, and the space is bad, Dukkha. Duhu stands for Dur. Like Duryodhanudu, Dur. Dur becomes Duhu, Dukkha. Some people do not pronounce that Visarga. They pronounce wrongly. Dukkha, something they pronounce. You have to bring out that Hakara, Dukkha. That Jeffa Muliya has to come out. It's okay. Therefore, so both are states of mind only. Sukha, Dukkha. Both are states of mind. It is like weather. Weather is good weather, bad weather, outside weather. Weather is in the space, but the space is not affected either by good weather or by bad weather. Good weather comes and goes, bad weather comes and goes, space remains the same. Similarly, in the mind, the good weather comes, Sukha, only to go. Bad weather comes, Dukkha, again to go. What you need is some patience and attention. So pay attention to the Sukha, the state of mind of cheerfulness. The mind is cheerful, some good thing happened, so mind is cheerful. You pay attention to that, don't identify with it. Because Sukha and Dukkha are located in the mind, they are not in you. They become as though in you by identification with the mind. So don't identify with the mind. So what you do is be a sakshi to dukkha. Don't become dukkhi. Are you sakshi or are you the egotistic person? You have to settle that issue. If you are the egotistic person, then you are alternately sukhi and dukkhi. Whenever sukha happens in the mind, you become sukhi. Whenever dukkha happens, you become dukkhi. They happen all the time alternately, and therefore you are also rolling in that roller coaster of becoming sukhi and dukkhi alternately. That is how people live life. Sometimes they are sukhi, quite often they are dukkhi. Mostly they are dukkhi, and occasionally they are sukhi. And that's why they are all the time trying to escape from this status of dukkhi. And they find different means of escape. Like you want to attend a marriage of your brother-in-law's son, that is an escape. You don't need to attend that marriage. That is, don't need to attend all these marriages. What is there to attend? So it is escape all the way. Everybody is trying to escape from the burden of samsara. And this marriage invitation provides an opportunity. And then some other invitation, some other function is there, somebody invites, and that provides an opportunity. You are waiting for an opportunity to escape. And so the invitation provides the opportunity. Therefore, these are all escapes. And then religion provides escape too. That religion is just waiting. The priest and the altar, they are just waiting. You want to escape from your life? Okay, come, sit here and perform this ritual. That is how even this popular religion becomes a means of escape. And ceremonies, they are all mechanisms of escape from the pair of opposites of pleasure and pain. That going up and down, Nichair gacchatyuparicha dasha. So one time the wheel goes up and another time it comes down. Goes up, comes down. You cannot stop it. And so you are stuck with that wheel going up and down. So you want to escape. And therefore, the ceremony, think of a ceremony and do it. Like birthday ceremony. And then festival. Festivals also. Why should you celebrate a festival? What is a festival? So you should sit and meditate, not celebrate a festival. If you are a student of Vedanta, what all that you need to do is sit and meditate, or study, or go for a walk, or read a book, or meditate. Do your duty. Enough. Your 24 hours will not be enough, really speaking. Why should you celebrate a festival? Because you don't know what to do. You want to escape from yourself. And therefore the festival provides an opportunity to escape. You go to the festival and see what the people are doing. They are all lingering aimlessly here and there. Isn't it? Because everybody is an escapee. Therefore, these are all wrong. But all you have to do is you have to pay attention to sukha and dukkha as a states of mind. In any case, what is the reality of sukha and dukkha? When sukha happens and when dukkha happens, did you pay attention to that? You see, suppose an event happens in the outside. Events happen, you don't make them happen. Events happen. Okay? And now that event is known to you, to cognize the event. Therefore, cognition happens. So the eyes are open, the mind is moving. Therefore, there is the cognition of event. Okay? Then you accept it and embrace it. That becomes a pleasure. Okay? You resist it. Psychologically, mentally, you resist it. That becomes pain. Okay? Event in itself is neither pleasure nor pain. The cognition in itself is neither pleasurable nor painful. Cognition is cognition. This is flask, this is book, this is this. That is cognition. It's a mechanism of the sense organ and the mind together. It's a knowing process. It doesn't have either pleasure or pain in it. Then you accept it, means you identify with it in a way that you embrace it. Then that is pleasure. Or you identify with this event which is cognized with a resistance. That is also identification, negative identification. Resistance means, no, it cannot happen. How can it happen? I don't want it. I have done so many pujas. Why it is happening to me only? Why it is not happening to somebody else? He has done all papa. It should happen to him, but he is doing fine. Only to me it is happening. This is the psychological resistance. Also emotionally you resist it. Then it becomes dukkha. The intensity of the dukkha, that emotional distress, is directly proportional to the intensity of resistance. The more you resist, the more painful it is. Okay? In this description, you have to notice that the primary element, the clinching factor, is your acceptance and embracing or your psychological resistance. That is the clinching factor. And that happens only because of identification with the mind. Suppose you pay attention, there is event happening, there is cognition of the event, means the mind is experiencing that event. and the mind becomes cheerful, and you pay attention to that. The mind is cheerful based on the event. You are not cheerful. You have to address it in the sukha level. Because you identify with sukha, it feels good. So you want to keep it. And when it comes to dukkha, you don't want that. That doesn't work. I want only day, I don't want night. Will it work? It doesn't work. I want the dollar bill with the face only, not the back. Will it work? It doesn't work. Because the obverse and the reverse, they come together. You cannot have one of the two. Can you have a magnet with only North Pole and no South Pole? It doesn't exist. That's why when we were studying magnetism, we used to say, imagine a solitary North Pole. We used to begin like that. Because an independent North Pole doesn't exist. But for the sake of a mathematical equation, you imagine such an North Pole exists, suppose. You can only imagine. Therefore, these opposites, they come together. You cannot have one of them. They come together. Either you get both or you are free from both. Therefore, this choice that I want to keep sukha because it is very comfortable to me, I don't want dukkha, it just doesn't work. It is against the nature of this creation in which you are seeking one and not the other in a dipole. Sukha and dukkha are a dipole. You have sukha, you will have dukkha. Equal measure. Human beings have sukha and dukkha in equal measure. So you have a sukha and dukkha in equal measure, 50-50, or you become free from both sukha and dukkha. Only two options are available. That's why all these prediction things like astrology, etc., they do not fit into this understanding of the truth. The understanding of the truth is sukha and dukkha are always experienced in equal measure. So you spend summer in dukkha, you will spend fall in sukha, something like that. They are always experienced in equal measure. There is no way of increasing sukha at the cost of dukkha. There is no such thing exists in this creation. Then why are you struggling to do that? Why do you perform rituals to increase sukha and decrease dukkha? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Day and night, sometimes in winter, day appears longer, shorter, and in summer, day appears longer. It averages out. If you take 365 days, exact 12 hours is the day, 12 hours is the night. Because that is how the nature is. If you take one's life, exact 50% sukha, 50% dukkha. Suppose I consult an astrologer and then what happens? 50% sukha, 50% dukkha. I consult a numerologist and follow the method advised by him. Still you will have 50% sukha, 50% dukkha. You do rituals to increase sukha and decrease dukkha. Then what happens? 50% sukha and 50% dukkha. Then why all this? You must be really ignorant of some of the basic truths to go into this field. Sometimes I feel that way. People, they do not pay attention, they don't think, they don't understand. And they say, you know what they say? Swami, TV is against astrology. I'm not against astrology, I'm against ignorance. And I'm against your seeking against the truth of nature. The truth is 50-50 and you want to make it 90-40, 90-10 or 60-40 or 70-30. It is not going to happen. and you are struggling with it, and I feel sad about it. That is all. I am not against anything. We are not against anything. Suppose in winter you put a proper dress to keep yourself warm. Are you against the winter? You are not against the winter. In hot sun, you don't go outside because it can cause problem to the health. Therefore, you keep indoors in shade. Are you against the sun? You are not against the sun. So, therefore, sukha dukkha, either you suffer them 50-50 or you rise above both of them. Suppose we rise above both sukha and dukkha, then what will happen? You will enter into a bliss in which the pleasure-pain cycle vanishes, it collapses. And in fact, you will not see any distinction between pleasure and pain. The division itself collapses because that is entirely in the mind and it just vanishes. You abide in pure bliss. And sukha dukkha are not in you, they are not of you. They are in the mind, they are of the mind, and the mind is impure because of them. By paying attention, the mind will lose them and becomes pure. That is the way you have to understand sukha and dukkha. We'll finish this verse tomorrow. Om Purnamada